Hello everyone, I'm Charlie Dance of Capital Athletics, and welcome to the new year of 2016. Welcome to the first Capital Women's Basketball Podcast of 2016. I'm being joined by Dixie Jeffers, the head coach of the Capital Women's Basketball Program. Coach, how was your new year?
It was good. I spent it staying at home with my family and my quiet confines and watched the ball drop. It was a good night.
Well, you got off to a nice start here in 2016. Let's go over that win over Baldwin Walls, 57-41 over the Yellow Jackets. A big road win. We were talking early on in the season about how your team was on the road for so much and you need to steal a game here or there in OAC play. You did just that.
I think the Calvin game and our Christmas tournament actually helped lead us up to what we did against BW. We played a good competition. It was a great win for us, and our kids went home for 4 days, came back, and really practiced hard and prepared themselves to go up to BW, and I couldn't be more proud of them. I thought they defensively put out one of the best outputs that I've seen in a long time, and they did things well on the boards, and it's a tough environment to play in, and they did a really nice job.
You touched upon it, the defensive job. You hold B-Dub to 26% shooting from the field, also plus 18 in points off of turnovers. Always going to be opportunistic, especially when you force those turnovers, right?
Oh, definitely. I just our bench is really starting to come along now. It's been a while, and we've been patient to try to develop it and so forth, but they're finally getting the self-confidence, understand their roles, understand what they need to do when they go in, and kudos to Colerain for coming in and just having the game of her season and her career so far. And you know what? That's what makes us dangerous, because you don't know which kids are going to show up. And as a coach, when all 5 of our kids show up, it's going to be really fun.
That actually leads me into my next point. Colerain Fantasy, 19 points off the bench. You really provide a lift for your squad. Where do you see the bench right now in this season?
I'm really pleased with it. They're coming in and being focused, and they're doing what they need to do, and they're starting to take pride in that. When we told them, we said, when our 5 come off, or we start to split things up, you guys have got to go in and start picking things up. And now it's becoming a little bit of a game of the bench is going to be here, the bench is going to be here type thing. And they're taking pride in it, and they're owning it, and they're having a lot of fun right now.
We're talking with Dixie Jeffers here on the Capital Women's Basketball Podcast here on athletics.capital.edu. Well, right now, you're 4-2 in OAC play. Last check of the standings, a 4-way tie for second place. You're right behind Ohio Northern, who's 6-0. What do you make of the conference thus far? How many teams can the OAC put in the tournament this year, do you think?
Well, I'm no longer on the committee, so I can't speak to that, because it's based on certain formulas and strength of schedule, and there's categories that you get points for and so forth. So the only thing I really care about is where are we headed, and where are we going to be in the last week of February. This conference is strong. We knew it was going to be strong. Any night, 1 through 10 can knock anybody off. So you can't have a night off. You've got to stay focused. You've got to go in, and there's still a lot of basketball to be played yet.
As I mentioned, 4-2 in OAC play, 11-2 overall on the season. Has this team met expectations in your eyes? Has it exceeded expectations?
This team has a lot of upside left to it. I'm having fun just to see how far we can go. I'm amazed at how hard they work. I want them to win because they work so hard. It's one of the hardest working teams I've had in a very, very long time. We're all on the same page right now, from the coaching staff to the players to the training staff. I mean, it's in sync right now. So when you get in sync, and I keep talking about playing and having one heartbeat, when you get that, there's a lot of good things that can happen. And we got a lot of basketball yet to play, and we haven't peaked yet, thank goodness. And we continue to play. It's going to be fun to see how good we can become.
Got an interesting slate coming up the next couple of weeks. On the road at Marietta on the 13th. Home game against Heidelberg on the 16th, road game at Muskingum on the 20th, and then a home game against Ohio Northern on the 23rd. That would be a big matchup. Now, your policy is to just look at the next game. Marietta has been somewhat of a surprise in the OAC this year. This was a team that had double-digit losses, but last time I checked, 9-4 overall in the season, 3-3 in conference play, so they've been staying with it. What do you make of the Pioneers this year?
Well, they're not a surprise to me, and I think they're not a surprise to a lot of the coaches in the OAC. They lost a lot of close games last year. They actually should have probably won, and it was right there in the waning moments of the game. And they were a young team. They graduated some significant seniors, but they got a lot of good kids back. They can shoot the basketball. They're athletic. They're going to pose a lot of problems for us, and we've got to go in there focused on Wednesday night.
What's the key going into the second half of the season?
I think any time that you go in on the road, I've always a big philosophy of you got to play well defensively, you got to control the boards, and you got to make free throws. So those are the things we're going to continue to do and take care of the basketball. They're going to play well on their home court. We just got to go down and play better.
Finally, Coach, random question of the week. It's a new year. Everybody always has a New Year's resolution. What's yours?
Quit having surgeries and to be very positive. And every day I get up, I just say, let's make this a productive day. So that's my New Year's, just to make every day a productive day.
All right, Coach. Well, hopefully the success will continue here in the year 2016. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it.
I'm head coach Dixie Jeffers here on the Capital Women's Basketball Podcast. For more, go to athletics.capital.edu. I'm Charlie Danis. We'll see you next time.
And I'm Dixie Jeffers.
Hello everyone, I'm Charlie Danis of Capital Athletics. Welcome into the second half of the Capital Women's Basketball Podcast here on athletics.capital.edu. And I'm joined now by the senior forward, Kristen Thompson. Well, Kristen, thanks so much for joining us.
No problem.
So, Kristen, let's go back to the beginning. How were you introduced to the game of basketball?
I played in little leagues close by home, and I didn't play anything too serious until high school, and that's when I got more involved and had great coaches, and then decided to do AAU, and then just kept building my skill set from there.
You're originally from the Cincinnati area. Did you have any favorite teams or players growing up?
Not specifically. I think I would just look up to girls that were in the program and just see their personal work ethic and seeing what they would do on a daily basis, but not any big time stars.
What were some of your favorite memories from your prep career?
We just had a lot of fun. I mean, my coaches were great, and it was just a big transition because I remember my freshman year I got to be put in a few minutes in the varsity game, and my mom would still laugh that I would just go out there and just freeze because I didn't know what I was doing. And then it's just awesome to see the transition and watch that in other girls too.
Did your team ever make the playoffs?
Yeah, we made the playoffs, but we always fell short, unfortunately. I think we could have gone a lot farther a couple years, but whatever happens.
How did you end up here at Capital?
Well, my senior year, I was obviously falling in love with the game even more each game, and it just started to dawn on me that, basketball's not going to keep going unless, I pursue something collegiate. And that's when I think the summer before my senior year is when I first had contact with Coach Jeffers, and just since then we talked on and off throughout the year, and then I finally decided to commit to here.
Was it just love at first sight, walking on the campus, seeing the facilities? I mean, what hooked you?
It was a lot. I have a lot of family member that's gone to Capital, so I've obviously heard of the program, and Coach's reputation is always a nice factor. And I mean, I did have other schools, but just where Capital's located and the school and the program were definitely a huge sell.
We're talking with Kristen Thompson here on the Capital Women's Basketball Podcast. Well, Kristen, coming into this year, Capital was picked to finish first in the OAC. High expectations for the basketball program. To this point, 11-2 overall, 4-2 in OAC play. Do you think this team has met or even exceeded expectations so far?
I think we have met, and I think we're in the process of exceeding expectations. I guess not met yet, because that's the last game that will decide that. We've definitely been working hard as a team. I'm very proud of everyone. It's just having the 5 seniors, I think, is just huge, because I haven't been in the program where there's been more than 2 seniors. So that's always fun to play with girls that I've been playing with now for 4 years. And then everyone else, I just feel we're clicking together very well.
Speaking of clicking, you had it going on in that game against number 11 Calvin during the Christmas tournament. I want to go over your stat line here really quickly. 33 points, 19 rebounds. What was working that night?
I have no idea. I don't even know how I got to 33 points. At the end of the game, they told me that, and I was like, what the heck? It was just crazy. But I think that game was just, we had so much energy. We were ready to take them on. That definitely, I feel sent a message, because they were ranked so well, and it's a non-conference game that will help us later on. And just working together as a team, I mean, we got so many great opportunities, and I guess I just wanted to pull down some boards too.
People always want to end their collegiate careers with a bang. So far for you this year, 15.5 points, third best in the conference, 10.5 rebounds per game, best in the conference, 51 40.7% from the field, 4th best in the conference. Did you do anything during the off season to get you to this point?
This summer I made it more of a goal than I guess in past. I've always worked out in the summer, but this summer I think I put a lot into lifting and running and making sure I was in shape before I got to Capital. And then when we got here and reunited as a team, from the get-go, like our first open gym, I was like super competitive. I was like curious just to like see how we would go from there. And then obviously we've just been working since September.
We're talking with Kristen Thompson here on the Capital Women's Basketball Podcast, coming off of a 57-41 win over Baldwin Loss. How big was that win over the Yellow Jackets?
That was an amazing win because obviously last year that's who we lost the OAC championship to. So we did have some grudge coming into that, making sure that we wanted to win that. We came in prepared, and that was just an exciting win overall.
You're hoping to add to that win the next couple weeks. You go on the road at Marietta, home game at versus Heidelberg, at Muskingum, and then you host Ohio Northern. That's going to be a big game with the Polar Bears. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but that immediate slate with Marietta and Heidelberg this week specifically, well, what challenges do both those teams pose?
Well, this conference is just crazy because I know I was talking to my roommates, Nina and Simone, and we were just like looking at the stats, we were looking at the records and everything, and we're like, we did not have an off night any night. Like, we have to come out here hard every time. I know Marietta is just always like, what's going to happen? You never know. They're good shooters, so we'll have to get out there. We start our big prep today in practice, so we'll go from there.
Later on in the future, a big game looming with Ohio Northern. They're the only team that has not lost a game in conference. They beat you guys earlier this year. I'm sure there's a little payback on the mind.
Yes. ONU's been trouble sometimes throughout the years that I've been here. And, yeah, that was a hard lose for us. And I know a lot of us are just hungry for that game, but we just want to stay focused on taking each game one by one.
So let's now switch the attention from being an athlete to a student athlete. Your major?
I am a business major with a HR minor.
And what are you wanting to do with that?
That is a great question. I'm not all the way sure yet. I've been interested in the healthcare profession, so might do like an HR kind of job there, but still kind of scoping that one out.
This is your final year. A lot of memories, obviously, here at Capital.
Yes.
I know it must be crazy for you that it's finally come here. How do you want this season to end, and what are some of the memories that you're going to take with you after your time here at Capital?
Well, obviously, I just want to go as far as we can go, and I think we have potential to go very far, and just keep playing together, and that's our key. I would love to win it all and have that as my memory. I mean, sophomore year, we won the OAC championship, and like just thinking back to like all those good times, the road trips, the ring that we got, like it's all fun, and I would love to have that repeat this year.
Finally, our random question of the week. It's New Year's Eve. Everybody has a resolution. Kristen Thompson, what is yours?
I guess I haven't thought about it too much, but I know like for a short-term goal, like just with this being my final semester, I want to make sure that I finish strong and keep up with my grades. So I guess just working in and out for basketball and for school.
Okay, so making it work athletically and scholastically.
Heck
Your parents
yeah.
are really going to like that
Yeah.
answer. Kristen, thanks so much for helping.
No problem.
Kristen Thompson, join us here on the Capital Women's Basketball Podcast. For more, check out athletics.capital.edu. I'm Charlie Danis. We'll see you next time.